Hi, my name is Alice. My friends call me Reina. I actually prefer Reina. I am a food stylist, a recipe developer, and a food content creator. In short, that's basically, I love food. I am a foodie. And I make food look good. So I am into food photography, restaurant photography, basically just any dish, any cuisine you might think about and you want it to look nice and pretty. I am known for that. I'm also one very hospitable person. If you meet me and you're hungry, we have to eat. So I am the firstborn of a family of 4. When we were growing up, as guys, both my mom and dad are actually priests. So, pesa ni ya Mungu. Whatever you have, give it back to God. We give thanks. So, that was like the first bottom line. So we all knew that you have to give good offering in church. Actually, we grew up with 20 shillings is like, that was my sadaka. Then like kulingana na how we follow each other. So I, the firstborn, gives a bigger sum amount of money all the way down to the last person. And we grew up with, you do not go to church empty-handed. So, and the older you get, the more your offer tree and increases as you grow up. So to us in our family, one of the things we need is that money belongs to God. Whatever you have, give thanks and always give it back to God. So we knew offering in church, tithing, first fruits, all those things. We were very well educated. But one of the things that was missing out in our family was we never had a conversation about investment, savings. It was unheard of. Like, I do not remember. I hear people talk about it. We know how much money our folks make. As guys, that is a secret. At one point in my life, I got to become my mom's secretary in a church that she was at. And she was very clear on what to do with her check. It was actually a secret. Like, it is a matter of sealing it properly. Seal that envelope, write it nicely, put it on my table. So, and even then she would make you think that this is not the only money, but it might be the only money. So you never knew where you lie when it comes to her salary. And so we never had that conversation of beyond offering in church. We never had savings or investment idea. So we just knew our parents have money and sometimes they don't have money. We had that moment of growing up in extremely poor conditions where we used to have one meal, and then we progressed to the point of now seeing this. We even have a dining table where we can all sit together. So we came from a kawan room house to now everybody has their own bedroom. So we've experienced that, but we never got to a point of understanding. So how did we get here? So the whole thing about savings and investment for us was pretty much subconscious. At the back of our, I think it's those untold stories where your folks do things, it's you to observe and tell, there must be something. She cannot be getting this money from nowhere. So, and then there's the whole thing, we were left to, I think it's the people who are around us. Like personally, I'd say the people I had a chance to work with and I shared an office with, they're the ones who really made me learn what it means to save. Also, there's one lady I have to thank because it's like she saved me from making a very bad decision while I was really young. She told me that little amount of money you're making, she took me to a circle and actually took me this is the manager, talk to her. This is the minimum amount of money you should be putting at the end of every month. And I actually got to close that account after I got married, and not from a bad financial decision, like deciding this is the time to actually close it. So she really saved my youth from making bad financial decisions. So interesting enough, I've never been employed. All my life I have najua kuhustle. Even when I was in uni in Strathmore, I used to sell earrings. So these bougie people of ours in campus, I used to go to the streets in town get those. There's a time we used to have like Ankara earrings, and everybody used to wear Ankara earrings and Ankara headbands. Or Ankara is kitenge. So I'd resell those in school to get lunch, because my mom, on the other hand, was the type of people who, if she asks you how much is your fare and you tell her 120 shillings, she will give you 120 shillings. In her life, there was nothing like lunch. She had this principle: you wake up very early in the morning, you eat properly, then you go to school, then you study, then you come back home very quickly and eat for dinner. So she's those people. If there's anything I can remember about my mom and money, is no wastage. So 3 meals in a day sounds like an excess. You can eat really well very early in the morning and late in the evening, and that's enough for you. So she put that policy, and it really kind of influenced even my thinking. And I was always the type of people who, I do not know about tomorrow, so I put a little aside, and sometimes I miss out on the opportunity to actually enjoy the now. So that really influenced it encouraged my savings, but also influenced my relationship with money, where sometimes I would feel like there's a need for tomorrow. There's a need to just put something aside for tomorrow, and it would make me miss out on the now. I find myself being a giver and forgetting how to receive. I do not know how to really receive, and it's one of those things that I am slowly working on as a person, to be able to enjoy the now as it happens. One of the biggest takeouts that I have had, personally, I am a very pessimistic person. I do not go towards the positivity of things. I always think, if I'm making an investment, I am the type of people who are very detailed. They really want to understand if it fails. And if it fails, you who is making me fail, where will you be? Because we're either failing together, or it has to be clearly defined from the onset. So when it comes to my risk appetite, I'm not a high risk taker. It must be very calculated. I have to see the end from the beginning before I even put my money into it. And I think for me, it was much more of a conditional mindset. Centonomy for me made me see there's so much out there. You can have a CDS account. You can think stocks, and stop. And the whole idea, the fact that the Centronomy class is not just, the online class was fantastic, that we are not just Kenyans. You had a chance to talk to Ugandans and have people talk about their sterling pounds in Britain. So at least I know if I go to Britain, I have people who I can talk to and who can help me and guide me through that path, especially investment-wise. So it makes you broaden your spectrum in terms of investment, and they even show you where to invest. And I enjoyed the fact that we all have different financial journeys, and the fact that you can sit down and think through your expenses as a person, because most of us, we probably get a salary or there's money and you have no idea how it is that you spend it. It comes to the end of the month and you're like, wait, money is over. Or maybe a few weeks in and you're like, wait, what has happened to my money? And Centronomy for me, especially now as a mom and a wife and having my own home, made me to specifically think about how much are we spending on groceries. Now I know 2 weeks with 2,000 shillings, that's groceries in this house. If you do not have 4,000 shillings, at least minimum, and I'm not talking about, and that's not even inclusive of things like when you're hosting people, it's just the 2 mouths. Okay, the extras in this house, but at least 4 months, 4,000 shillings in a month. When I think about it, that's the minimum I should have for groceries. It made me become very specific on every single expense. And now I know I need to have X amount of money to be able to go through the month with the expenses that we have in this house. And then I also wasn't really keen on emergencies. I know I have, like, I was the type of people who live by chance. We live by God's grace. You can understand considering my upbringing. But the harsh reality of something can happen to you, something can happen to your child, something can happen to your loved one. What do you do? If someone called me right now and they told me, Reina, I need 50,000 shillings, or there's an investment opportunity, and I should have, if I had 50,000 shillings, I would not have lost on that particular opportunity. So for me, Centonomy was pretty much an amazing experience. Also has made me think about the will. In one of the classes, units, you get to cover insurance and also think futuristic as well. And the topic of wills, being brought up in an African home, wills are discussed when people are dead, and even some of our folks and our grandparents die without wills. So right now, at this point in time, I get to think about the will. What is my net worth, if anything? And what can I do about it as a person? And how can I improve and do better when I think about 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? Personally, I would tell anybody, anyone, single, married, young, old, doesn't matter where you're at in life. We've all made our own mistakes with money, and we have very different backgrounds, and those backgrounds somehow have a very big influence on the decisions we make with our finances. You realize that the beliefs that have been put into your system while growing up pretty much define how it is that you enter into adulthood and the decisions you end up making as a person. For me, I'd recommend anybody, doesn't matter whether you're young, whether you just started earning a salary. Actually, that's the best point in time. You should start there so that you do not have to mess up and tell many other stories as you grow older. And even if you are deep into employment, or you're probably even retiring, truth is, there's hope for you. Centonomy helps you. There's even a topic on debt and how to get out of debt. And you end up even sitting down and coming up with a plan for how can I get myself out of debt if at all you're in debt. So it's really rich. It's important for anybody. And the fact that money makes the world go round or run, it is important that you actually do it, because there's nothing that we end up doing in this world without using money. So the fact that we're using it on a daily basis, it's important we learn how to use it well and make money your friend so that it does not run away from you. It sticks closer.